here with Connor Penson.
I love making bread. I think I'm pretty good at it. I have to tell Cole what to do without knowing what his dough looks like.
Okay, I think I'm done.
This is the part where he's either a 10 or a 1.
We're really hoping to get a coorsbanquet sponsorship.
You should have a long, thin kind of rectangle in front of you, right?
Oh.
Do you know how uncomfortable it makes me feel? I'm just enjoying my coorsbanquet.
My reaction to that information.
If you want, pussy.
It's just plum.
It's just prunes, yeah, it's good for you.
You're plum crazy, Zachy.
You like a coorsbanquet, don't you? She's put her hands up. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here for part 2 of this wonderful bread video where I'm teaching Cole how to make a bread without seeing what he's doing. Now, we have risen our dough. Here's my dough. You can see it's mine, Connor. So by now, it's about double in size, maybe a little more. It's nice and fluffy. If I tap on it, I'll get my finger wet. Sounds like a nice, thumpy, deep, hollow sound. That's very good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of flour from this amazing mason jar, put it on the table here, just so we have a nice surface to work on. We got our surrogate bench scraper, which in this case is a spatula. Just gonna have a bench scraper, that's okay. We're gonna dump our dough out onto our flour here, our floured surface. Wish I could get my dough out. You wanna be gentle here, not degas it too much. Dump it out, and it should stay together if we've developed our gluten well enough. Not leave too much in the pan. And as you can see, pretty clean. Shove a bunch of dough or flour under our dough. And we're gonna move all the excess flour away. Pop any big bubbles we see, like that. A little flour on our hands. Stretch this out into a kind of a rectangle. We want to be gentle the whole time we're doing this because we don't want to push too much gas out of the dough. Flip this over. Flip this over just like a pan flip. We're going to twist and pull. And we're going to make sure we have a nice tense skin. And pushing in as we're rolling. So we develop the tension in the skin. We're going to pull this end out just to match it. Make our seam here, our seam, and now we're going to push our thumbs underneath, kind of work that seam in. Work that seam in. Sure it's a good shape. I'm going to flip it over to check the seam. Looks good. It feels like that skin is nice and taut. So I'm going to grab my semolina flour, dust my loaf pan where I will be resting it and retarding it overnight in the fridge. And I'm gonna put some of that on my loaf as well. Find the seam side, which is right here. Pick it up gently in the bucket and then cover it up. And it's ready for bed. So now the hard part is all the very complex actions that I have practiced a lot of times, I have to go into another room and explain to Cole after I've had a few
coorsbanquets
and played some Mario Party and had a good time. So that's gonna be a little difficult. But folks, I'm still hopeful we can come out on top and have a good bread out of the back end of this for Cole, okay? Stick around.
Hey, this video's too loud. You're gonna wake up the baby. Hi, Husky. Do you need to go potty?
Is this all the stuff that I needed laid out here already?
Yes, so you should have a loaf pan, towels, semolina flour, and normal flour in front of you at the moment.
Yeah, I got it. Okay.
Okay, and Cole, I'm gonna prepare you now. This is gonna be the hardest part. Focus up, we got this. Okay, The first thing before you get into this process, you should see evenly distributed bubbles throughout your dough.
They're not really evenly distributed, but they're medium size.
Okay, but is there like evenly distributed bubbles, any of them?
I guess a few, yeah.
So that means you had a good rise, depending on the size of those bubbles, so we can proceed.
All right.
Okay, take the cling wrap off the top. Now you're going to take a good pinch of flour, normal flour, it's in the big mason jar in front of you. You just kind of want to toss it down, like.
All right, I got it.
Casting a spell or something.
Okay.
Flip the pan over, and while it's flipped, you want to reach under with one of your hands and kind of pry the dough off the glass. If you have good gluten development, it shouldn't be hard to get all the dough out of the pan. Maybe a little tiny bit left. Did all of it come out pretty cleanly?
Yeah, for the most part.
Oh
They
my
left
God.
like a few, like some streaks.
That's fine.
but it's
Streaks
not a
are
lot.
fine. All right, here's where it gets hard. Not hard, I won't say hard. This is where it gets interesting. You have a dough in front of you. Approximately, like, what's the shape? Is it looking like a circle, maybe?
It's looking like a dough. Like it's a blob of dough. I mean, it's shaped like a little ghost or like a small character or something.
Okay. So you're gonna want to turn that little whimsical character into a rectangle. Now you have to be really ginger with your dough. Otherwise, all the gas that's inside of it is gonna come out, and you do not want that. You're gonna take the long side of it, and you're gonna do that same thing where you fold it over like a pamphlet. So you're gonna take the right side and fold it to the middle, left side and fold it to the middle. Almost look like a line, like a really thin.
Okay, I did it.
Rectangle.
I did it.
Okay, good. So now,
I don't want to say what it looks like.
basically the idea is you're gonna roll the dough over onto itself into like a cigar. So what you're gonna do is get your fingers under the top edge of it, get your thumbs on top of the dough, and you're gonna roll it over. But as you go, you have to kind of push it into itself because you're developing tension in the outside skin of the dough. But not too, you gotta be ginger here, man. You gotta be really gentle.
As I roll, I push in.
All the way down until the bottom. And then right as you have maybe like 2 inches left at the bottom, you're gonna take those bottom 2 corners and stretch them out so they are the width of that dough.
Stretch them out so they're the width of the
So just
dough.
take them and really gingerly stretch them so they're the width of your cigar that you just made. And then you'll roll it onto those bottom corners and tell me when you've done that.
Okay, I have done that.
Okay,
So it looks like a burrito.
You've done that. Yeah, so you have a big burrito. That's great.
Yeah.
On the ends of the burritos, basically what you're gonna do is kind of like stick your finger in the end of the burrito and push it in just a tiny bit. Don't be crazy about it. Just like a little bit, and then take the little tortilla bits that would be left if you push the contents of the burrito in and pinch them off. You kind of got to rub them between your fingers a little bit to make that seam.
One side is really wet and one side's dry.
Okay. Now you need to get the seam on like where the tortilla meets the burrito. You know what I mean? Like
No,
where that
because the burrito is the tortilla.
Right, but like there would be like one little flap of tortilla that is left on the bottom. You get it?
No, I don't understand what you're trying.
Okay, so like if you had a burrito, there would be 2 places where there would be a seam on the sides, and then where that tortilla pushes is touching that burrito. You know
Okay,
what
I see where you roll it over. Yeah.
Exactly. You're gonna take the semolina, which is in the bag to your left. Take it and sprinkle it over that dough. Roll the burrito so that that long seam is facing towards the sky. It's facing up.
Okay.
And you're gonna pick it up like a baby. You gotta be really gentle here, but you're trying to transfer it into that loaf pan with the seam facing up. That's very important.
Okay.
So you gotta kind of like roll your hands under the sides and just get it real gentle like. And just plop her in there. And you're home free.
Okay, it's plopped in and the thing is facing up.
That was great. That was great. I really truthfully believe Cole had made a good bread. Just the way he was responding to the things I was asking, he never had a sound of doubt in his voice. My confidence, it's shooting up. We're at a 9 out of 10. We're at a 9 out of 10. Okay, let's go. We ended up rising for something like 8 hours just because it is cold. It's cold here, it's pretty chilly, and sourdough takes a long time when it's cold. So we found a nice warm place at Cole's house, rose it up, then we shaped into a nice little boule, is what it's called. We floured it up, threw it in a loaf pan, and we did a retard in the fridge overnight.
So what do we have to do today?
We're gonna get the loaf out of the pan, score the top so it can rise through that score, and the kind of stretched out skin doesn't impede the rise. And then we're gonna throw it in there for about 25 minutes and let it get baked off and fully risen in the oven. Then you take the lid off and brown it. My confidence after last night, that last step, it's running about an 8.5, maybe 9.
We're booling.
Yeah, we're gonna have a bowl that makes you drool, okay? We're gonna have a loaf that makes you croak. We're gonna have a bread that
Makes you dead.
makes you dead. All right, so we're gonna take the Dutch oven out. It's been preheating for about 15 minutes now. Take the lid off, go in here and retrieve I've already cut a piece of parchment paper for us. Go in here and retrieve my loaf. There it is, after its nice cold sleep. We're gonna score this puppy. All right, so it's looking okay. I feel all right about it. We're gonna flip it out onto the parchment. And so I'm gonna just do a straight up and down score. Normally you would maybe put it off at a 45 to develop a kind of an ear as it bakes, but I'm gonna go right down the middle just to kind of copy the technique I'm giving Cole. So we're gonna go nice and quick and confident, right down the middle. Check that score. Here. Straight in. Lid on. Good luck in there, little guy. See you in 20 minutes. The bread's been in the oven for about 20 minutes now. It's starting to smell right, so I'm gonna go in, pull the Dutch oven out, and we'll take a look. Let's check it out. So what we're looking for is a nicely risen loaf, but it should still be pale white. Oh, got a little brown, but yeah, it's good looking bread. So now we take the lid off, we're gonna pop it back in the oven, turn the oven up to about 450, and let it get nice and brown and crispy. And it smells great. It smells perfect. In there.
All right, Connor, I am pulling my bread from the fridge.
No, don't do that yet. Leave the bread in the fridge for now. Right. Check the temperature on the oven. Should be at 425.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, whoo. We're good.
What was that?
All right, Dutch oven is in the oven now. Okay, 425.
Okay. It's a little time sensitive, this process here, so I'm just gonna kind of give you the rundown before we get into it so you know what to expect. Your goals are you need to have your loaf as cold as you can get it, and you need to have it as structurally sound as you can get it. Because as soon as you cut it and you score it, you're gonna it's gonna wanna like split itself apart, and you wanna get it in the oven as fast as you can after that. Once it's flipped out, you'll have that loaf in front of you. You're gonna grab your razor blade and then you're gonna score it, which means you'll take the razor blade just straight up and down, don't put it off at an angle, about a 1/4 inch deep. And you gotta be a little confident with it, okay? Don't get scared of it, because you gotta do it a little fast, and you gotta be a little firm. Otherwise it'll gum up on you.
All right, here we go.
Okay, and I'll talk you through it as you're going. Take the Dutch oven out.
So, making it happen, I'm going in. I am pulling out the Dutch oven. I'm not even sure the best way to do it. Okay, that works. Okay, Dutch oven is on the counter. So then I pull the bread out. I'm opening up open up the towel. I see the loaf from yesterday. I'm taking the parchment paper, setting it over top, basically turning it upside down so that the loaf falls out onto the parchment paper. I now see my loaf, taking my razor blade, tip to top, about a 1/4 inch, just cutting it through. That felt pretty consistent.
Good.
Lid is going onto the Dutch oven. Dutch oven is going into the American-made oven right now. Okay, all right. Thank you, Arshia.
Let's go, baby. Okay.
And, okay, it's in.
Yes, big moves.
We did it, all right.
So we just browned the loaf and we're gonna pull it out. Final product. Let's check it out. I just burnt this. There it is. And that is looking gorgeous.
Wow.
Can you even believe it, Arshia?
I am
So that's what it's supposed to look like.
blown away. That looks amazing.
We're gonna compare Cole's final product to this this sourdough loaf.
Okay, so this is the first that I'm seeing of Connor's loaf for the most part. My loaf is in cooking, and we're gonna cut into Connor's and get a taste while it's nice and fresh.
I think.
And then we'll see how mine turned
A
out.
serrated knife.
Serrated knife?
Yeah.
Could it be in a different drawer in one of these, Papa?
How about that one, Ralph? Doesn't have a handle, but hey.
Here comes the cut.
Let me see that too.
There you go.
Oh my gosh.
Pretty good shot.
Oh, perfect. Dude, always.
This bread be going monkey mode.
Alrighty, you ready? Oh my god, it's really good.
Good? Good.
Dude, I was waiting for this for like over 24 hours, man. This is really good. Like, hey, man, nothing's perfect, right? So I'm gonna give it like a 9.5 out of 10. This is delicious.
I'm quite happy with that loaf. Turned out good. Good, even crumb structure. That's what we're looking for. Could have gone a little browner just for flavor, but the problem is I didn't do a technique that I normally do where I cool the lid off with water and then put this on the lid to brown it. So I didn't want the bottom to get too burnt. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, that's a pretty good loaf of bread. All right, so there's the control bread. We'll see how the challenge bread comes out.
Holly, do you like the bread?
Yeah. Yummy. So we're gonna take a look at it because Cole's saying it's taking
I'm a little nervous about it.
That's not good. So in general, when you make a sourdough loaf, you're looking for a nice, good, about circular shape, maybe a little elliptical. Looking at it from the side, it indicates a good rise. It should be pushing through your score a little bit. So let's take a look. So unfortunately with Cole's bread, we did not manage to get that. First glance at Cole's bread, I'm thinking somehow the yeast in there didn't quite make it. It looks like all of our colony died off. And so we didn't get a rise on it at all. We made a flat bread and we weren't trying. So you can see we got a score here. We didn't get any rise through it. It's just kind of flattened out like a puddle. And that's really sad because I felt like we were doing a good job, especially last night. But it just goes to show this is a hard craft. It takes a lot of work and a lot of time to develop. There's a lot of non-tangibles and a lot of things that you have to be able to touch and feel and smell and, you know, really get your hands into to know what's going on and to have a feeling of what you need to do.
Well, here's what it should look like. Let's see, does it crunch though? Does it have a nice...
You might have a little bit of crunch. No.
Hold on, I just want to get a cross section next to his.
Here it is, the big reveal.
Oh no.
Oh no. There's Cole's first bread ever with no experience and minimal help.
Good try.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
almost exactly what my bread looked like the first time I ever made bread.
I'll try a little bite of it.
We're gonna give it a taste test. It's got a little bit of a chew to it. What do you think?
You know, funny enough, it don't taste all that bad.
Doesn't taste bad. Let's get a second opinion. Yeah, unfortunately, because it tastes really salty because it didn't rise, and so that salt spreads out, so you're getting a lot of concentrated flavor. Weirdly enough, it almost tastes like a pasta. It really eats like a pasta in a weird way, which is not what you're going for, but you know, it's okay. It takes a while to get to. It's kind of like Takes a while to get it down, but man.
Cole's biscuit.
This is Cole's biscuit.
The real expert opinion here, we got
This is
Ralph.
the Ralph test. Let's see what we think.
All right, see what we got there. No. A little salty and a little gooey. That's not yum.
That's a good word for it, yeah. A little goopy.
And it's not so bad. It's edible.
We got another edible.
We got an edible. That's
Good.
a start.
Look, he's finishing it.
Uh-huh.
Human detection. It's working.
It's because I'm built different. I'm not even human, I'm a different species. Well, Cole, after 2 long, hard days of work, and I mean long and hard, what'd you learn?
I learned that bread is very delicate, and it's a very, very involved and difficult thing to do, especially if you've got no aid. Like, thank goodness that we have such a wealth of information and technology at our hands that, like, if you don't have someone who can teach you to make bread, you can find a lot of videos.
In a way, that's kind of what this is simulating. I'm providing what maybe a YouTube video you're watching, as you're making a sourdough bread, would give to him. It doesn't know what he's doing, it doesn't know where he's at. As far as my thoughts on where the process actually, the bread, I guess, died. Unfortunately, that's the way sourdough is. Sometimes if your bread is too salty, it can actually kill your yeast in your sourdough starter if you don't have enough. And so one of the things that I ran into, because every time I make a sourdough loaf, I eyeball my sourdough starter. I would just say like, oh, well, I know for this amount of dough and this amount of flour and water, approximately what amount of sourdough I should put in. I don't know gram-wise how much that is. I have no clue. So I was guessing, I'm like maybe 35. So I think what happened, this is my theory, I think what happened is, when I told you how much sourdough starter to put in, I said 35 grams. I think that was like a quarter of how much you should have used. I think we should have gone like 90 or even more. That was cute. And I think there was a part where he said, well, the scale is not updating, and I think I've poured too much salt in.
Yeah, and you know what? They won't see it because it got corrupted. Dude, I'm still pouring and it's still 0. I feel like I need to stop here.
We have a critical decision point here. If it still says 0, 0, 0, I'm gonna say you probably need to keep pouring because it will display, it displayed 6 for me, but just be slow. And I think that was the wrong call. When he said, I should have trusted his judgment, he said, I think I've poured too much. I should have said, then go with your gut. Not enough yeast, too much salt, salt killed the yeast, and we weren't making bread. We were making
Salt.
Yeah, cracker.
Cracker, yeah.
We were making a cracker. Sourdough is incredibly difficult. It is a horribly, horribly hard, but rewarding art form. It's a wonderful craft. If you can put the time and the effort into learning the non-tangibles, the kind of variables that you have to play with to make a good bread, it's extremely rewarding. But even me starting out, that bread is pretty much a model of my first 8 or 9 loaves. And then the 10th one, it popped out and it looked great, and I said, oh my God, I got this nailed down. Number 11, look like that again. Because it's like, you don't. Yeah. You gotta get 3 or 4 good ones, and then you finally learn, oh, this is what makes it good.
I have a huge respect for the art of making bread and how it survived through the ages, because like we're saying, like a video you can watch step by step, you can see if yours is not looking like it should or whatever. Like back when stuff was just like, I don't know, scrolls and word of mouth and stuff, like,
well, some guy had to figure that out too.
Yeah.
The very first guy.
Some guy just kept mixing shit. He was like, this is gonna be something. I don't know what.
He was kind of dicking around and was like, hey, I made a tasty sponge. I think we did as well as we could have.
Did a great job.
I would love to try again sometime. Yeah. I think next time with a little more experience, you can make a pretty good bread. But unfortunately, folks, I'm gonna call this challenge, and I think Cole will agree, a fail.
Roll that X50!
Thank you for watching this video. If you made it all the way to this point, thank you, Connor, for coming and lending his expertise. Go check out his content on YouTube and TikTok.
TikTok, yeah, Connor, just my name, Connor Penson, C-O-N-N-E-R with an E, Connor Penson.
And I think there's only one thing left to do.
Bake your sourdough with the delicious, refreshing taste of coorsbanquet. Please sponsor us. I'm going broke and my wife is gonna kick me out.